President Joe Biden spoke at the North America's Building Trade Unions Conference in Washington, D.C. This was his first speech since announcing his reelection bid yesterday, so in many ways, the official beginning of his 2024 presidential campaign. I want to get to a few clips from this speech, starting with Biden calling out Republicans over their attempts to leverage the necessity of raising the debt ceiling to force spending cuts. Republicans in the House passed today their bill that would do just that, raise the debt ceiling, but only if countless crucial programs have their funding cut, as we've heard discussed for quite a while now. We'll get to the clip of Biden addressing this in just a second, but to give you the proper context, as a reminder, the debt ceiling has nothing to do with signing off on new spending. Nothing. It has to do with spending decisions that have already been made by Congress in the past. It's the United States following through on its financial obligations. People often compare it to paying off your credit card bill. So the reason this is so dangerous is if Republicans demand massive irrational cuts to programs and the Democrats justifiably refuse to sign off on them, and then the Republicans hold their ground and the debt ceiling isn't raised in time, then we could end up defaulting on our debt and causing an economic catastrophe. So with all that being said, here is Biden.
The wealthiest corporations. We're not even talking about raising their taxes, just stop the subsidies. Same old trickle down dressed up in MAGA clothing. Only worse. Because this time, they're saying if they get their way, they will if they don't get their way, if Biden doesn't agree with them and agree to all the cuts and these tax increases for others, working people, they're going to let the country default on its debt. This is debt took over 200.
We will watch a little bit more of this in just a bit, but I love the line that he said, quote, "the same old trickle down dressed in MAGA clothing," because that is why they're pushing for the spending cuts. Meaning, if they're genuinely concerned with the debt, then why not at least also push for taxing those at the top of our economic ladder more reasonably? We have a situation in this country where many of the top billionaires pay a single-digit effective tax rate. Why not support Biden's effort to give the IRS the resources necessary to go after wealthy tax cheats, which will bring in more governmental revenue? Well, because sure, they're concerned about the debt and the deficit when it comes to cutting benefits that go to the working class. But when it is time to cut taxes for the wealthy under Trump and jack up the deficit by $1 trillion, they have no problem with it. And it's because of that trickle-down ideology, just in a different wrapping paper, with a different bow on it. We've heard it multiple times in multiple different forms, but it's the same ideology. If we just give as much wealth as possible to those at the very top, just push it all in their direction, then maybe, just maybe, you'll be lucky enough to have it drizzle down onto you. But that's just not the case at all. We've tried it. It doesn't work. We've tried it multiple times. It doesn't work. What it does give us is massive wealth inequality and its disastrous repercussions. And so while MAGA's so much more dangerous than your typical Republican Party of the past in so many different ways, when it comes to their economic and governing philosophy, like the one we've seen for a long time, it's not pro-working class. It's the exact opposite. And right now, the GOP is threatening to crash the economy to get spending cuts so that they don't have to do what Biden's proposing to decrease the deficit, which is more reasonably taxing those at the very top. It's really that simple. Next moment from the speech.
Hell, and folks, we made a lot of progress because of all of you. But there's more to do. So let's finish the job. I've long said it's never been a good bet to bet against America, and I can honestly say as I stand here today, I've never been more optimistic about America's future. We're on the cusp of major change. We're creating jobs again. Manufacturing has come alive again. People can afford a decent health care. Towns that have been forgotten and left behind for dead are coming alive again because of you all and what we're doing. Now we've just got to keep it going. Finish the job.
That's kind of his campaign message. We have more to do, so let's get the job done. We talked about that yesterday. more in depth the specifics of his 2024 campaign, what he should discuss, what is working against him. You can find that clip on the YouTube channel if you're interested. Last month, we'll look at just real quickly when the crowd chanted 4 more years.
4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
So there it is. The Biden 2024 reelection bid has begun, and we will see how he manages right now this moment with the Republican Party, the debt ceiling negotiations, all of that.